Welcome to this special edition of Digg Into Books. I'm your host, Cece Foster. We have a very exciting show lined up for you today, and you don't want to miss it. Today's guest is the very beautiful and talented Cherie Johnson. You may remember Cherie as Maxine on the hit TV show Family Matters, or as the main sidekick on the Punky Brewster show. Well, Cherie is all grown up now, and she's blossomed into a multi-talented woman who has taken over Hollywood in a big way. We're also going to meet up with the Chat with Cherie contest winner, Cherie's Joy, and we'll be reviewing Cherie's new book, Around the World Twice. I told you it was going to be a hot show. Let's dig in. I'd like to welcome our guest, Cherie Johnson, to the show. Cherie, welcome.
Thank you so much.
I'm so excited to be here with you, chatting with you.
Thank you.
So how are you doing?
I'm great, girl.
Good. Well, you're looking all good, girl.
Thank you. So are you.
Working those curls. I love it.
Thank you. I got dressed for you today.
Good. I like that. I like that. I got dressed for you, too.
You look cute.
Thank you. All right. So I want to start with, let's talk about the beginning.
Yeah.
You acquired success at such a young age of 6 years old. Kind of tell everybody, do you think you were ready for success at such a young age? And if so, I mean, how did you deal with all of this?
You know, it's funny that you say success. You can't explain that to a 6-year-old.
Absolutely.
It doesn't mean anything unless they have the dream that they want to grow up and be an actor or, you know, a famous singer. I thought I was going to grow up and be an architect.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. I was doing something that I love
Okay.
to do, and I thought it was fun. I was going to work every day with my friend Soleil, and that's all it was.
Fun.
It was
you
fun.
Didn't look at it as,
No.
this is a career choice for me.
I did not know I was getting paid till I was 16.
What?
And I think that makes a huge difference.
Oh my goodness. So at 16, is that when it became work? At what point did it become work?
It didn't become work until 5 years ago. I was 30 when I realized.
Okay.
Honest, I didn't get the whole fame thing. I knew that a lot of people knew me,
Right.
like wherever I went, but it was kind of like I was their homegirl. You know what I'm saying? Because I was in their homes. It's not like going to the movies. People eat with you. They go to the bathroom hearing your voice.
Yeah.
You're part of their family.
Absolutely.
So you're treated a lot different on TV than when you do films.
Okay.
5 years ago, after I had done my first film, is when it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is a little bit different. And that's when I realized that it is a career. I'm an adult now,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to make smart career choices if I want to continue in this business.
Now, Cherie, you started out on TV when there weren't many black actresses at the time. How, in your opinion, has the industry changed?
Well, it has changed. There weren't that many black actresses. Now there's more black actresses and less roles. In the 80s, there were less of us, but there were more roles for us. So we all kind of worked and we all kind of knew each other.
Okay.
Now, there might be 10 roles a year for black actresses, but there's 350,000 women my age that are African American in SAG, not counting the women who are not union that are also auditioning for some of the same jobs.
Wow. Okay.
So it's harder. The statistics are you get one job out of 100 auditions. So that's 99 no's.
Get that one yes.
Yes, and you know the price of gas?
Oh yeah, honey, I do.
They need a
Lord.
second job.
Okay. So, I mean, how do you stay motivated in such an industry that's so tough?
For me, it's all I know. You know, it's not like I shouldn't say this, but it's not like I have the skills to go outside of entertainment and work in an office. I can't do customer service. I am not that. I'm friendly,
type?
but I'm not that friendly. You know, I'm gonna tell people really how I feel instead of the
Okay.
customer's always right. So I think I was just groomed for it. I have
Yeah.
really thick skin, and I'm determined, and I believe if I want it bad enough, I can have it. Nobody's ever told me that I couldn't.
Okay. So, what type of advice would you give to those actresses now that are starting out from nothing? That say they want to, you know, they come from the Midwest or from wherever and they move to Hollywood and they want to be an actress. What advice would you have for them?
My biggest advice would be follow your dreams. Dreams come true. My whole life has been a dream. And not just that, like, if you want it, go get it. Think of yourself as a brand. It's not just always about your talent.
Right.
It is a business. And so you have to learn the business side if you want to succeed. And don't wait for somebody to give you a job. I did that for like 15 years until I realized I'm not Punky's friend anymore. I'm not Waldo's girlfriend. And I was auditioning and people wouldn't see me as anything else but that. And that's when I realized I needed to take it to another level and create jobs for myself instead of waiting for somebody to hire you. So don't be scared to invent your own jobs.
Absolutely. So that brings me to my next question. I was going to say that. Is that why you started producing your own films?
Absolutely.
Okay. And so how long has it been since you produced the I Did?
That was the first one that I wrote.
And you wrote that one?
Yeah, and that I produced.
What inspired you to write that?
Well, I was actually on set producing the first film that I had ever done called Dead Tone.
The scary one.
The scary one. I was a co-executive producer.
Okay.
And then that was a special one to me, but I was going through a really bad breakup.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I was working with this man. I was stuck on the set with him for 3 months, and I just found out that he had a groupie pregnant.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we've been together for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
So my therapy, and not to go crazy while I was at work, I went in the dressing room. Right,
okay.
That's how I felt.
Right.
I went in the dressing room and I got my little notebook out and I started writing. And then I called my friend who was in New York, and her and I just bounced ideas off of each other. And to kind of be a smart aleck, I handed him the script and I said, do me a favor, check my spelling. And I walked away. And he didn't say anything for a long time. So I figured, oh, he hated it, he's pissed, or it sucks.
Right.
He actually called me back like 6 months after the film was over and said, hey, I read your movie. Do you still want to do it? I said, yes. He said, how much do you think you need to do it? I told him, and he gave me the money.
What?
Yeah, so I'm not mad at him no more. No harm, no foul. He got a baby, I got a movie.
That's what I'm talking about. Nice. So let's talk about your book, or your journey from TV star, films, into being an author.
Yeah.
I mean, how was that transition for you?
Well, it was something that I always wanted to do, and I had just came off of writing my own film. So I wrote the book. It's been a 30-year dream. I come from a very small town outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania called Duquesne, and Duquesne doesn't have a library. So I remember my mom, we had a library, but in 1965 they burnt down the library because they didn't want black people visiting the library, and they didn't want black people in their pools. So my mom used to take me 3 towns over on the bus to visit this big white building that I thought was the most beautiful place I'd ever seen in my life, and that was the library. And she told me the best way to go down in history was to have a piece of me in there. Beautiful. And so I promised her that one day I was going to have a book, and it was going to be in that house, because I thought the library was a house. And so it became a goal. I kept my promise to my mommy.
Beautiful. So Around the World Twice.
Yes.
Who came up with this cover idea? You didn't strip down in your skivvies and wrap the flag around you. Who came up with that?
I did. I got a little naked.
Yeah.
You know, I think the world is so caught up with Twitter and Facebook and everything, we forget that we're still at war. And a lot of black women don't really do anything for the soldiers. So I had originally taken the picture and I sent posters over to Iraq. And to Iran, and signed them for the guys and just said thank you for everything that you're doing for our country. And then when we came up with the title Around the World Twice, I felt like it was fitting. You know, I've been in the business for 30 years. God has given me the opportunity to travel, and a lot of people here complain all the time, but they don't know this is the best place to live on earth. It's the only place in the world where women are not a second-class citizen. I'm sorry.
I agree.
So yeah, Around the World Twice. My contribution to America.
Very nice. What is this book about? Because it looks very interesting.
It is. It's loosely based off of true experiences from my life. It is about 2 best friends, one named Lillian and the other one named Ashley. Ashley is an actress, and she's been in the business for quite some years. So you get
30 years. Does it sound familiar, people? Okay.
So you get a little intimate with Ashley about her friendship with Lillian, who is back home in New York, and you learn about why she's single, the men that she dated, and the relationship she has.
Absolutely.
But the biggest thing is, I think it humanizes the celebrity and lets people know that their life parallels every other woman's life in the world. And we go through the same thing that everybody else goes through.
I really enjoyed the story And I can relate to it being a woman, dealing with, relationship issues. And I think a lot of women can get something out of this book, whether they're married, single, divorced, all of that. So
and men.
Men too.
My biggest response, honestly, has been from men. Men have said that they've learned so much. I mean, I go through 3 relationships in the book. Me personally. Lillian goes through the relationship with her husband, and then there's, some surprises up in there.
And there are.
Our men come from different backgrounds as well. And so, the guys have learned some nice little lessons of what not to do.
You have another book coming out soon titled Peaches and Cream.
Yes.
So what is Peaches and Cream about?
Peaches and Cream is an urban novel. I would say Around the World Twice is contemporary, but it's a different side of me. She's from Duquesne. She's a little girl who is in love with money and lets nothing stand in her way.
Okay.
And she will do anything and everything to get what she thinks she deserves.
Wait, how old is Peaches?
When the book starts, Peaches is 4.
Oh, so it spans.
Oh, yeah, she grows up with you.
Okay, I like that. When you write your books, what is it that you want people to walk away with from reading your books?
Last year, I was honored with the spokesperson of a national literacy campaign called Take Time to Read. So I was really excited about that because I've kind of been a bookworm and a nerd my whole life. I would like people to bring literature back into the homes and not just sit your kids in front of a TV, and let them watch these reality shows. But read.
Read a book.
Read a book. And besides from that, I also want my friends, because I don't like the word fans. I think it's a little strange. I do have some fans and I'm scared of them. But I like my friends better, the ones that have grown up with me. They think they know me because they know I played characters, but those are characters that other people created.
Right.
Now I want them to know the characters that I'm creating, the things that bother me, the things that go on in my mind. And I have 7 books ready to go.
So 7 books ready to go already. What inspires you as a writer then?
I can only write about what I know. So I write about my life and the things that I've experienced. Being a child star, people paint it to be this negative, bad thing. I paint it as experiences.
Absolutely.
So I have a lot of experiences, and I want to share. I'll tell. I don't have anything to hide.
I'll tell.
Yeah, I'll tell. If I did it, I'll tell you I did.
So, as a writer, what is your writing process like? What do you need to get in the mood to write a novel?
Girl, first thing I do is grab me something to eat.
You're just eating and you're just so small. You always want to eat.
Eating is my hobby. Okay. And it makes me happy. So the first thing I get in a room, I get a whole lot of food and water and Capri Suns, because I love me some Capri Suns.
Okay.
And then, not to do a plug, but then I get on my computer and turn the phones off and just go.
Okay, so you don't do outlines or anything like that. You just get on the computer and freestyle?
Yeah, I have to freestyle because I don't know where the story's going to go myself. I got to make it up when it comes.
You spontaneous.
Very much. I've lived my whole life like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to plan and, go according to plan. If I did, I'd probably fail and never finish.
So what interests you most about writing in its whole process then?
This is going to sound crazy, but I say every entertainer, there's something a little off with us.
Right.
I know I'm bipolar. So it's therapy for me. It's a way to get some of those characters out, either that I've always wanted to play and never got an opportunity to, or that I've already played but didn't play them to the point that Cherie Johnson would play them, But it's therapy. It's my way to get all that out. Acting is like my husband.
Okay, so you're married to that one.
Yes, I'm married to that one. Producing is like my Miss Store. Yeah, like mistress, Miss Store. And writing is my therapy. So my therapy helps me deal with my husband, and my Miss Store gives me a better marriage.
Love it. Love it. So welcome back, everyone. Right now, I am so excited to introduce our contest winner of the Chat with Cherie contest, Cherie Joy. Welcome to the show, Cherie. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
So, Cherie, I hear you are also a writer.
I am. I have a book of poetry published, and I'm actually working on some freelance writing right now.
Okay, and your poetry book is actually, you brought it with you?
I did. I did.
And it's titled Evolving Realm.
Correct.
Okay, and can you tell us a little bit about what the book is about?
Basically, Evolving Realm is kind of a compilation of poetry from the time I was 16 all the way up to 33. My mother passed away on Thanksgiving Day when I was 32, and it was something that I needed to do because I had put it off for so long. I've been writing ever since I can remember. So just gathered up all my poetry and went head first and got it done.
Ladies, why don't we have a discussion about Cherie's new book, Around the World Twice? I know you read it. You're a big fan.
Yes, I am.
Thank
I've been a fan since I was a little girl.
Friend. She doesn't
Friend.
like fan. She wants everybody to be called a friend.
I do like the headband, though. Thank you.
Oh,
Right.
I'm loving the headband
We're
too.
bringing the headbands back for 2011. Definitely.
All
Definitely.
So I want to talk about the book,
Right, the
Around the World Twice. Okay. I read it. I really enjoyed it.
I did
What
too.
about you, Cherie? You enjoyed it too?
I have so many questions.
Because you know what? Yeah, it's like when you be reading books and then you be like, I wonder why did she choose to do this instead of that? So now's your chance, girl. There she is right there.
Right.
What you wanted? She's like, bring it. What you want to know?
When I first started reading the book, I started reading it at work, and then I couldn't put it down.
Uh-huh.
So, how much of the book is you, and how much is it made up?
Good
I
question,
would
Cherie.
say 90% of the book is Ashley. And
AKA.
right, and 10% of the book is Cherie.
Okay. And the host.
Yeah.
Who is this
Who
host?
is the host?
You know, when I first went in and I started writing the book, I was going to name him. I wasn't going to give him his real name, but I was going to
Right.
give him unnamed. So I put the host in placement. And then the more I thought about it, the host is someone who is larger than life. He's someone who everyone does know. The host just kind of became fitting.
The way it ends, it leads you to believe, don't it? That there's more to come.
There's
Because
something
something tells me
else.
that these
Right.
ladies aren't through with their relationship dramas and the issues with these men they have.
Well, hopefully Ashley might be through with a little bit of the. Come on,
But
Ashley got a
Lillian?
lot of drama.
But Lillian,
Yeah.
the woman, I mean, her husband goes off, he leaves her, and
with all those kids.
how many kids she had? Like, was it
Yeah, she
four?
had 4 kids.
4 kids while he goes off, but then he comes back years later and want to play house again.
See, that's the difference between Lily and Ashley.
Ashley wouldn't play that, would she?
He'd be gone.
See? Yeah,
with the
'cause
kids.
Because when I was reading it, I'm like, okay, Lillian, baby, get it together. I mean, you don't need this guy. You just gonna let him walk back in. I can believe that she just let him walk back in. But you know what? We all know women like that. That will
Absolutely.
allow that.
That's what made it so
Absolutely.
believable. Is that
Absolutely.
we all know somebody that fits those characters.
And they had been together for so long. It was kind of, he was all she knew.
Right. Since high
Exactly.
school.
Right. So, she
So
was
it was that fear that she had of stepping out into the unknown. But she was a very beautiful lady from the
Yes.
way you described her. So she
Absolutely.
wouldn't have had a hard time finding a guy. It's just that she got comfortable with.
I think it's comfortable. She had low self-esteem because of the things that he had put her through.
Right.
And she had just learned to accept. And sometimes I think that's what love is about. What you're willing to accept.
Right.
So as you write, that's how you come up with the characters. You kind of take in everything that's going around you, and you kind of just bundle up this character. Is
Absolutely. Hey, you might be in one.
That, uh-oh.
You never know.
Uh-oh. Part 2. CC. Look out, y'all. So do you ever have like guys call you up, Cherie, and be like, I think I'm on page 44. What's up with that?
Yeah, Craig.
Who is Craig?
Oh, Craig actually, yeah, he knows that Sam all day. If people know my career and they go back and they read the chapter is the description, I believe it's one of the opening chapters, you can figure out who Craig is. All you got to do is get on IMDb.
Okay,
we might
I
have
hear
to go
that.
back through
Yeah,
there.
okay.
Go look
right
for,
in the
I am.
I
beginning.
played off of a show that we worked on together. I didn't say the exact name, but it rhymes and it's really close. The Barkers, the Parkers.
Being in the industry and being famous, how difficult is it for you to find a date?
Oh, it's really hard. There are male groupies too.
Male groupies.
Male groupies, and there are male groupies in the business because a lot of men, haven't been actors for 30 years, but they're aspiring. and they're
Okay.
still trying to be. So somebody who came in the business maybe 3 years ago also grew up with me. They're friends who turn into fans, because then they have an ulterior motive. Fans have an ulterior motive, and they only want to date me to see if maybe I can help them get where they're trying to go.
Further their career.
Absolutely.
Do you see right through them from the gate?
Girl,
or
sometimes no, they get me.
sometimes they
Yes,
got you?
about
Oh.
90% of the guys that I've dated have probably been fans. I'm not even gonna say friends. Yeah, because in the book I do date an athlete, and I didn't know at the time, but if he wanted to date me because it looked good on the outside, not about who I was as a person.
So he wanted some arm candy.
He wanted arm candy, and for what I stood for. I'm a national
Absolutely.
spokesperson. I work for a lot of charities, so it makes him look good and noble when he wasn't so good and noble with himself.
So do you think guy groupies are worse than the female groupies?
Absolutely, guy groupies are worse, and they're scarier. I've had naked men in my hotel room in my bed when I come in the hotel. If it's
We're like,
Were they cute?
so it's a little weird. And then when you date men outside of the business, you get the, well, what time are you coming home? Oh, who are you working with? Are you kissing today? Oh, you had that sex scene, huh? How'd you like that? And it's not like
yeah.
so.
You know what? Sex scenes. I am so glad you brought that up. Anybody who knows me know that's probably one of my favorite conversations. How do you get over those sex scenes? Are they scary? I mean, how do you prepare for something like that?
It's not scary because there's like 50 people watching you, so you're
Yeah.
not scared that he's gonna do anything to you. I think my scariest sex scene was actually in I Do, I Did, because it was the first time I actually had to take off my clothes a little bit.
Yeah.
So it was more like, I wasn't really scared of him. He was my comfort zone, and I was more like, come closer, touch my boob, don't let nipples show. Because if you let that one nipple slip, it's on the internet tomorrow.
So I want to talk about writer's block. Do you encounter writer's block? And if so, how do you get over that hump?
Absolutely, I have, and I know I got over it on Twitter. There is always something inspirational or some fool on Twitter to give you a good idea.
There is.
So we're all book lovers and authors here. Why books? What is it about books that you love?
I would say books in themselves, the storylines, reading the different adventures, the different trials of different, authors kind of develops you as an author, gives you, ideas and inspiration. So the more you read, of course, the more you know. And within our community, especially the Black community, that's something that is so far-fetched for our kids. Everything is TV driven, material driven, and we've lost that literacy element in our community. So I definitely think that it is important to focus on that literacy element and bring it back into our community. Definitely.
For me, books are kind of like my best friend. And I know that sounds really weird, but sometimes I'll read something and then I'll think about it 5 years later, and it's like it took me 5 years to actually understand what I read before. So I can always go back to it, pick it back up, and it's like a conversation. I can go back and have that same conversation again with the book and look at it completely differently. Because the way it might move me now is completely different than the way it would have moved me in my 20s.
Well, that's it for today's show. And to all my book diggers out there, continue to follow the show at diggintobooks.com, where you can find out more about our cool contests and giveaways. The next big winner could be you. Be sure to tune in next time. I'm your host, Cece Foster. Thanks for watching Dig Into Books, keeping literature alive, one book club at a time.